This is a PMacMovies coffee talk video, which means let's get some coffee brewing, baby. So this video is going to be me sharing some of the things that I'm kind of put together, have been thinking about. These are my opinions, my perspectives. So hopefully this isn't a trigger for anybody. Me saying what I think, hopefully that's not a trigger for people. And we can have a respectful discussion in the comment section. I feel like I'm probably preaching to the choir. A lot of these type of videos, but nonetheless, it's helpful for me too to get my thoughts out there. So whether it's preaching to the choir or not, I need to do it. I need to talk about some of this stuff for me too. But I want to talk about, I was just thinking about the system in general, and I was thinking about metaphors for the system, and like biblically, and then in a lot of movies and stuff now, and just taking a look at the system and thinking, and this is taking into account everything that's happened over the last over a year now with the beer bug, and me coming out. Not really a whole it took very little to get criticism for it, but basically just putting out there that it's not what we're told it is. The motivations for it is not what we're told it is. That what's going on is not what we're told it is. And the thinking is, how could the system be totally in on a lie like that? Like, how could all of these countries and all of the scientific community and the media and the government, how could everything be in on it? And part of that's because it's controlled from the top down. But let's take a look at various areas of our life, and if the system is good and helpful and trying to, the system in general, if it is trying to help people, encourage people, motivate people, keep people low, stress levels lower, you would think that some of these areas would be improving. And then I guess there's the idea that it's like from the bottom up or something, like where these people in these poor communities in the cities are just they're just pieces of crap, sort of thing. But how did those areas in the city get to be how they are? Violent, drugs, and all those things. If it didn't start up top, so that's another thing. But we're not going to be able to cover everything in this video, and part of it's just me getting my thoughts out. As you can hear, the coffee's ready. And I've talked about some of these things before, starting with the educational system. The educational system is, a lot of times I remember taking classes that I haven't used it all in my life, but also it's a lot of just regurgitating what the instructor is telling you. It's basically just regurgitating it. Whereas it's not really teaching you any life skills. And if you had this is 100% obvious. I can talk to pretty much anybody about this, and these all aren't obvious, but this is obvious. I could talk to pretty much anyone, family member, people at work, anybody, and they would agree with this. The education system does not properly teach life skills, and thus people become adults and they don't really have life skills. Now, what do life skills entail? Everybody should know how to grow food. Everybody should know how to cook, hunt, fish, basically be able to take care of yourself so that the system doesn't have to take care of you. But why would the system wants you reliant upon it. Otherwise, those things would be taught to you. So you wouldn't just have to go to the grocery store for food. You would know how to produce your own food. You'd know how to get by. proper, there's minimal classes, some classes like health classes, but minimal on nutrition. Minimal, not very much. Coping skills, extremely important. How to cope with things in life. Most people can't do it. This is something a lot of times we get it from our parents, but a lot of times people don't get it from their parents. And we'll talk more about the family system too. So the system could assume that people aren't getting it from their parents and just make it a focus that these are ways that you can cope. Do some meditation in classes, some deep breathing exercises, and really get people used to it so that they're able to calm themselves down and things like that. Grief, coping with grief. Very, very difficult to do. People really struggle with it. These are obvious things that if you wanted a healthy, a system, a community full of healthy people, these are things that you would do, that you would teach. And I like things like woodwork or carpentry or, being able to build things, mechanical work, and you could say, oh, well, you could go to BOCES for that. These are things that everybody could use and be useful, where a lot of the stuff that gets taught is totally not useful. I know I've talked about those things a lot, but that is the one where it's like, yeah, people can really comprehend that. It's obvious. I left out parenting skills. People become parents from an early age and they just have no idea what they're doing. People need to know about conditioning. People need to know about positive reinforcement. A lot of times it's just negative. The only way that a kid can get attention is by being naughty. But parents need to give kids attention for negative and positive reasons, But, so parenting is an obvious one that should be taught. And again, like I said, I know some of this stuff is like a little tidbit in school for some people, but these should be focuses of it. Health and medical progress. How much money is put into these cancer research and walks and American Cancer Society stuff. The rates of cancer are higher than ever, and then people want, oh well, they're just able to detect it better and things like that. People's health in general, I see it firsthand. People's health in general is not good, and the system will give you statistics. Oh, the average lifespan is higher than it used to be, all this stuff. Not true. It's not true. It's just not, people, I think people probably, I don't know how long ago, but I think people probably lived for hundreds of years. It's possible. And a lot of times, the average lifespan is like, last I checked, it was like low 70s. But what is the quality of life like for a lot of people in their 50s, 60s, 70s? A lot of them have like so many health problems on all sorts of medications and things like that. Also with medical stuff, they have like these preventative tests. But having a test is not preventative. Preventative is like eating properly taking care of yourself, getting proper exercise, understanding certain things about health like circulation. Like if you're wearing tight clothes, circulation is not, your body's not properly circulating through those areas. So in the, if you take a look more into like natural health and stuff, like even a tight, like wearing a bra cuts off proper circulation, which can lead to things like breast cancer. But do many people or women know that? So that's just an example of that. There's so many simple things that could be done to improve health. And food, too. There could easily be an abundance of food anywhere you go. There could be fruit, and I heard this, too, that back in the day, there was a lot more fruit trees all over. so people would have easy access to fruit everywhere. There's an abundance of fruit. There's seeds in every fruit. You should be able to get good organic fruit for free anywhere, very easily. But a lot of the fruit trees and things were cut down for that purpose, and then they put in like the trees that we have a lot now that don't really have any real function, just for like looks and things like that. But so health, the thing is too, with the pharmaceutical thing, a lot of health problems are due to you not getting proper vitamins and nutrients that your body needs, and that your body naturally is accustomed, like it knows how to deal with them naturally, because it's a natural substance. Your body isn't having issues because it's lacking some sort of synthetic drug. Like, you're not depressed because your body is lacking, an SSRI that is prescribed for depression. And then that leads to a whole nother thing with they say that depression is a chemical imbalance in the brain. Never been proven. And you don't know what causes the chemical imbalance. Like, you don't know really the relationship between the depression and the chemical issues in the brain. And there's no way to really know, like when somebody diagnoses someone with a mental health condition, they're not doing any tests on the person's neurotransmitters in the brain. So actually what's, causing the chemical imbalance is, the depression is not due to the chemical imbalance. It's probably, the person has been traumatized in their life, which is causing, something with the chemicals in their brain, and thus you need to focus on treating the trauma, not the chemicals in the brain, because what now you start taking a drug for it, you haven't treated the actual cause of the problem. You're actually just gonna get those neurotransmitters out of whack more, and then that creates other problems. And so now the person has that, and they have the trauma that they still haven't dealt with. So that would actually be like, counseling would be necessary, and people do improve a lot of that stuff from counseling if they really are into it. The counselor doesn't do the work for you, but they can kind of help you along. But anyway, going to mental health stuff, people's mental health is worse than ever. Stress levels are worse than ever. People are experiencing more trauma than ever because of, what's going on in the society, especially over, people were already very stressed, and then we got, all the beer bug stuff that started towards the beginning of last year, and it's just went way up. We need to get some coffee in on this coffee talk. The legal system, I work a lot with that. A lot of it's more about people just getting jammed up for minimal things, drug crimes. You got things that people really should be punished for and taken out of society for, like violent crimes. But a lot of what's being punished now is just minimal things, or people being accused of things, and there's very little proof. But a lot of times it's, very, very little actual legal things get taken to trial too, because if, somebody could just get 3 years of probation if they plead out, and they could be facing 5 to 10 in prison possibly if they take it to trial. So, people just get frightened into taking a plea deal. So very, very few legal charges actually go to trial. Usually it's just a plea, and sometimes the person will, I didn't even do it, but what can I do? Like, I might go to prison if I take this to trial. So it's that threat there where people are ending up having to plead to things they didn't do. A lot of people in prison is due to drug related stuff. So you got the legal system is not helping anything. There's more and more laws added. How many laws are taken away? So just everything's illegal. You can't do anything in this free country that we live in where nothing is legal. I mean, that's exaggerating a little bit. But I mean, there's like states where collecting rainwater is illegal. Oh, well, that's because, seriously, you shouldn't be able to collect rainwater. And the, you know, the laws are made to control things. If you take a look into like hemp, anything that's made out of plastic could be made out of hemp. Any bottles, clothes, all sorts. I don't even know everything. You know, hemp, probably wood stuff too. I'm not 100% sure on that, but so much, the plastic bottles. We use so much plastic. Well, that's because hemp's illegal. I believe hemp is illegal to grow in this country. And you know, that's all done for a purpose. It's not because hemp is bad. It's because it's just a control thing. Just like the drug laws. I mean, I guess the thinking is that if drugs were made legal, everybody would just be using drugs all the time, which is totally, from my point of view, not true. Like, somebody's not just going to go from, oh, I don't use drugs because they're illegal, to, like, snorting cocaine every day. Like, it doesn't make sense, you know? You're still going to, like, alcohol's legal. Is everybody an alcoholic? Like, I don't know. But it's all about control. And then with drugs being illegal, the middle class is decimated for having to pay for everything regarding, you know, people being incarcerated and stuff. You know, somebody's paying for all the legal system, the police, the prisons, the officers, the inmates. They, you know, somebody being incarcerated is like, I think 40 to 50 grand a year. Last I checked. Substance abuse rates are higher than ever. Overdoses are more than ever. Fentanyl was introduced, and, you know, that led to a lot more overdoses. I wonder where that fentanyl came from. Was that just some, like, dude or some dudes, like, made it and put it out? That couldn't be from the system, the people who control the whole entity. That somehow spread all over. And now, when somebody uses heroin, it's fentanyl. People aren't even using what used to be heroin. It's fentanyl now. Very dangerous. The family system, both parents are out working. Who's raising the kids? You know, both parents have to work now to support a family. Although I guess with what's happened in March last year, a lot of people are out, you know, maybe both parents are home now. So, you know, people aren't even working. But I guess, so that's a little bit tricky one. But in general, when both parents are out working, who's raising the children? You know, back in the day, the family used to actually raise the young members of the family. That's crazy talk. We needed the women's rights movement to get women out of the house working so they're not taking care of their kids. And the women's rights movement was funded by the Rockefellers, who also fund the medical system and things like that. But that's no biggie. They're just trying to help people for the cure. I mean, there's been billions put into finding a cure. Did they figure one out yet? Actually, I mean, there have been people cured from cancer. You just don't hear about that, or that's quackery. That never happened, even though you look into the stories and, like, there's plenty of people where it did happen, but don't listen to them. Politics. Has politics ever made your life better? People are so invested in politics. Oh, Trump's the savior. Trump is a character put on to be loved by some, hated by a lot of people. I guess loved by a lot of people, hated by a lot of people. But he would do and say things, obviously somebody who wants to create unity would not say. He was put on to create division. These are basically actors playing characters. You don't know any of these people in real life. You only see them on a screen. And when people act in ways that doesn't make sense, there's probably a reason why. Oh, that person's just an idiot. He's just an idiot. Trump's just an idiot. He got you. You're the idiot. You fell for it. You fell for it. You calling him the idiot and getting pissed at him and thinking he's so stupid, which is a lot of people. You are actually the idiot. His function in the system, his character in the system, played it to perfection. You're supposed to either love him or hate him. If you think he's the savior, they got you. If you hate him and you think he's a horrible person, they got you. The only way they don't got you is when you realize he's fooling everybody. He's just playing a role. The guy's an actor. He was in WWE. That's basically what politics is. WWE wrestling. It's fake shit. Are those wrestlers in their little storylines where they're against each other? Are they really against each other in real life? They're probably best buds. Same thing with politics. They're behind the scenes. They're just all characters. Behind the scenes, they're all buddies. And it's like nothing ever, there's never any like positive progress. It's always, everything's getting worse. Taxes are always raised. People are struggling more and more. Stress levels are worse. Health problems worse. Education system is worse. People, young people are dumber now. The family system, divorce rates are higher. Everything is always progressively getting worse. And if you want to relate that to entertainment, sports is worse than it used to be with all the, free agency. I mean, look at basketball. The best players just all go to like the same teams. Like the New Jersey Nets have like a bunch of, the best players. It used to be like every team would have kind of their own players that stayed with the team. And it was kind of fun. And now it's like you got these super teams in the NBA or, the NFL, people always moving different teams in free agency, which, that it can be a little bit fun, but in general, sports is worse. They also put a lot of political stuff and social stuff in sports, which is pretty blatant. Movies. So this is a movie channel. Movies are worse. You watch movies from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. They had more heart. They had more... they're just more enjoyable. And, you can't even... The music was better in them. I don't know. They're just... Everything was just better. They were more fun. They had more heart. They were more real. They actually had... In action movies, they actually had to have, like... real stunts rather than just computerized special effects. It's all worse, and it's all worse on purpose because the system is setting everything up to be worse, degrading everything. You can see it. You can see it. All of this stuff could not be worse unless the people pulling the strings at the top were making it worse. On purpose. It's, look at like a family system. If the parents got their shit together and they're responsible people and they're focused on, giving their kids proper values, raising them properly, say they have 5 kids, those kids are going to turn out generally, they're going to turn out pretty good. Oh, that's not true. I knew a family where they had everything and the kids ended up being drug addicts. Don't specify it into one instance because a lot of times people will see a certain family and like, oh, that, those kids turned out bad even though their parents had it together. You don't know what was going on behind closed doors. And a lot of times families having a lot of money can actually cause a lot of issues because the parents are buying their kids stuff rather than actually giving them time and love and affection. Whereas on the other side, you have a family where the parents are, maybe they're one of them's an alcoholic, the other one's depressed and just miserable all the time. The kids a lot of times do turn out to have a lot of issues. So it's top down. That's all that's illustrating, top down. I'm not, that's pretty much all that is. The system works from the top down. It's like with this, and I won't get into that too much. Socialization's another thing. People used to be members of a community. People used to know their neighbors. You can see this in older movies even, where people, technology, electronic devices. People are staying home, playing video games on the computer, on the cell phone. Whereas before, even with like arcades, socialization, things like that. And it reminds me yesterday, rather than staying home and watching TV, like I normally would, not a good thing. Don't let PMac be your role model. I still got a lot of work to do. We went out. There's like this place where it actually has. It's kind of like an old fashioned type of thing where it's got putt-putt, it's got drive-in movies, and it's pretty close by, and ice cream. It's got a little arcade, and it was fun. It's fun being there. It brings you back. It brings me back to like a feeling of the 90s, and it feels good because the 90s, we played with friends. I was playing sports with my friends outside, having sleepovers. It was better back then. People weren't struggling. I mean, I'm not saying people weren't struggling, but not as nearly as bad as now. And there was video games like Nintendo, but it was you played it a little bit, but you were going outside and doing a lot of stuff too. So then after that, we kind of had that experience, doing the arcade stuff, which was fun. And it's not like it used to be, like it's just like a little thing. But then we actually, I wanted to go for a walk with Charmaine, and we ended up walking later than I thought. We ended up taking a walk around town, and it was like actually dark. It was like 8:39. So we walked, and I'm like, oh, let's walk down to the park and see what's going on down there. And there was actually like a beer league softball game, which people were actually socializing. They had like rap music playing, so that's but the guys are out socializing, having a good time, enjoying. It's like, this stuff still exists. People still socialize. And it just, you don't see a whole lot of that anymore. Like, 90s, even early 2000s. And, definitely, I don't remember the 80s really, but but now it's like, and part of it's the technology. Another part of it is constantly making these TV shows where it's about killers and rapists and all this stuff, and bad people out there. So nobody trusts anybody anymore. That's a mind control thing, and there's a lot of messed up people out there because of all the years and years of trauma that's been going on from all these other issues. There are a lot of people that are messed up, and part of that is movies and TV shows giving people ideas and planting a lot of stuff into people's minds. It especially affects children. And if you don't think it does, I don't know. I like, seriously, you don't think what kids see on TV, like, can their little brains like differentiate properly? Like, oh, this is this, this is that. Like, I can watch something and say, oh, this is total like propaganda, or like this is some messed up crap. But with kids, they're so moldable, and their brains are still, taking in so much information and still forming and things like that. What is it? So this has all been pretty much negative. But I wanna finish things off with a positive message, and I think about the Bible and the Jesus in the Bible, the Christ. I think it's more about what the Christ is, and finding. I don't think that story is about worshiping something or waiting for some entity to come back to save you. It's about finding the Christ within yourself. Finding, there's all these movies and stuff about heroes, Batman, Superman, always waiting for the hero to come save you. There's only one person that can save you, and it's yourself. It's about finding the Christ within yourself. There is nobody that's going to come save you, People can help you. People can guide you if you're willing to take it in. But in the end, it's about you. It's about... We're given so many challenges and tests in this life, and this what's been going on, this beer bug stuff over the last over a year now. This is something that's really pushing people to take a side between, are you going to find the Christ within yourself? Are you going to bring about the hero, that within yourself, the power within yourself? Are you going to become one with the system? And again, this is just me kind of thinking out loud. I wonder, is that what the what do you want to call it? The poke? What can I say that's not going to cause issues with it? The poke. That's what the poke is. It could be about. It's like if you accept it, it's like you're accepting becoming one with the system almost. And it's being pushed now through rewards, and it's like, why isn't all this other health stuff free? Like, why can't I just, this is good for me. Why aren't they just giving health food and health supplements and things for free? But with these certain pokes, you can get, you're getting them for free. I mean, somebody's paying for it, but I don't know how that is with the taxpayer. But you're paying for it either way then, so you're getting it for free. But there's so much, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Why is the system, which I've already outlined how the system, I think I've outlined anyway, and I know people are going to disagree. I've outlined how the system keeps getting worse and worse, keep drawing you down into more stress, having to rely on the system more and more people unemployed. Does that help the system? People are looking at the system more for help. Help me. I need you. I need you to help me. I need you to give me food. I need you to do this for me. Always looking for this outside sources. And you take a look at health. You're looking to your doctor. What's your doctor tell you to do? You do it. They're the expert. They know. I'm just going to go by what they say. I'm not going to look into anything myself. Legal system. Just going to, if I get, what's the word I'm thinking? If I get jammed up, go to a lawyer. So you're always looking out for outside entities all the time, where there's people who know a lot about all this stuff, and they're able... I knew a guy who traveled. He was Canadian. I met him in Australia. He traveled like all over the world. He said within the last year he had spent $50, and he had been traveling and everything. And I doubt he had a passport or anything. He knew how to do. He just did stuff. He just did it. And I don't know how he was able to do it. I think he said he went through the Middle East, and he was in Australia from Canada, and he just lived on this land, and he just knew how to do stuff himself. He could totally be independent of the system, and that's pretty extreme. But there's people out there that can do it. So I don't know, just some. But I think the main thing is, what's going on right now, everybody's worried, fearful, stressed. It's gotten taken down a notch recently, but it's going to be, you know, you can see the storylines where it's going to be back and forth, back and forth. Get scared again. Put your masks on, boys. Put them on again. And it's going to go back and forth. Oh, just relax. Things are getting better now. Oh, things are getting worse. Things are getting worse. Things are getting better. It's a trauma, back and forth, back and forth. It's like the T-ism thing that we went through after 2001. Oh, there's this alert. Get scared, or with communism, with the nuke possibility. You got to be on alert. You got to be scared. Oh, things have died down. Get scared again. Things are heating up again. It's back and forth, back and forth. Constant. How can you not see that that's trauma? Pulling you up, pulling you down, pulling you up. Oh, there's this enemy. They're angry. No, they're not that angry anymore. They've worked things out. There's issues again with them. It's been like that over the years with various things, up and down, just playing with people, Politics. Oh, this president's gonna come in and be the savior. Things just keep getting worse. We need to find somebody else. This guy's gonna come in and fix everything. Things just keep getting worse. Oh, this guy. We need this guy. He's gonna do it. He comes in. And it doesn't matter if he's a D or an R. It doesn't matter. It's all WWE wrestling. But this stuff outside of yourself is pushing you to be better within yourself and to work on your perspectives, to work on your focus. Are you going to focus on all that external stuff? And I'm not saying that I'm perfect on this. I'm definitely working on this. Or are you going to focus more on the internal battle? The internal battle is where you are going to win. You are not going to win externally here. I'm not saying everything's going to go shit for you externally. If you're winning internally, it's going to come out externally. Because you're going to find peace with whatever is thrown at you. You're going to find peace with it. And, you know, I talked about grief a little bit earlier. It's something we're all going to have to deal with. You know, your family members, that's part of life, you know, health problems and people passing away eventually. But we have to find some sort of spiritual, we have to get to that point spiritually where we understand that person is just moving on from this journey. So that's just another example. Most people just aren't even close to that, because that's another thing spiritually. People just don't have much of it, or, you know, it's just Christianity. And I think Christianity can be very useful for people, but it's also harmful for a lot of people, depending on their points of view on it. And they can really take it to an area where it's kind of messed up, but they can also take it to an area where it's very healthy. But the main thing is, you're the only one that can save yourself. You have to find the power within yourself to have the right perspectives, to find the gratitude, to be at peace, and be at peace with your life, but also be at peace with understanding that you're going to be moving on from this place at some point. And, you know, everything that comes at us here is momentary, and it's challenges, but really it's a small moment. It's all about your individual progression. Don't rely upon heroes to save you. Don't rely upon an actual figure coming back to save you. It's within you. It's within you to save yourself. You are the only one that can do it. And you can do it. So, if you have that spark within you, if you have that Christ spark, which, I mean, if you've listened to all of this and you're thinking about it, you're pondering it, You might not agree with all of it, but, you know, you're pondering it. You're, you know, oh, that makes some sense. I haven't really... You got it. If you're thinking about this stuff and you're open to it, you got it. The people who might not have it are the people that are, no. They just can't hear any of it, and they get triggered, they get upset. This is just, I don't have it all figured out. I'm just sharing, I'm putting myself out there by doing this too. I'm just, you know, he's crazy, he's putting his crazy thoughts out there. It's, you're always going to have tests in life, let's put it that way. I just got done talking about, you're going to have people that disagree with you, you're going to have tests, and those tests make you stronger. So really, over what's happened since the beer bug stuff started, it actually could push you to becoming the best you've ever been, and it could really push a lot of people to finding that strength within themselves and doing what they need to do, maybe things that they've been putting off doing, because they realize now's the time. You know, stuff is happening quick now. Now's the time to get going, to become more independent, to look at things differently, to become more spiritual, to bring out that gratitude within yourself, to not mope around, focus on the negative, let all the external stuff, Trump, Trump. I don't know. Hopefully, you know, you guys are willing to hear these things. And again, these are my thoughts on stuff. I don't claim to know everything, but this is kind of where I'm at. I do appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to keep making these videos if I keep getting feedback on them. If I don't get feedback, that tells me that people don't really care enough for me to make them. I'm not going to waste time, and I put 42 minutes into it so far, so and then I'll, you know, be upload. So I'll be putting probably over like an hour or so into this by the end of it, and that's an hour I could have been doing something else. So I enjoy getting this stuff out there, and I do it partially for myself, but I also could just think these things and not put it out like this, and that's good for myself too. So I look forward to hearing your guys' feedback. Let's be respectful in the comment section and appropriate. Even if you disagree with things, you can still be respectful. You can disagree in a respectful way. And that's it. We'll see you next time on PMacMovies.